In the early stages of World War II, Poland found itself in an unenviable position. Trapped between the Third Reich and the Soviet Union, it had little chance at survival, in spite of the heroic resistance of their soldiers. Thousands were killed or wounded, and hundreds of thousands more were marched into captivity. In 1941, the Germans double-crossed the Soviets and launched Operation Barbarossa. Having been forced into the Allied camp, the Russians became susceptible to British influence, and under political pressure, they released Polish POWs. The liberated Poles formed the Polish Free Army. These soldiers would participate on many fronts, but there was another reason that they were so well remembered. A Syrian brown bear was registered as an enlisted combatant. This bear soldier would accompany Polish forces throughout their maneuvers during the war and saw active service during the Italian campaign. On September 1st, 1939, Nazi Germany invaded the Polish Republic, starting the Second World War. 2 weeks later, the Soviet Union joined the Germans in carving up Poland. Britain and France remained hesitant and watched as the totalitarian juggernauts divided the Polish state between themselves. This proved to be a great point of diplomatic tension. Like many conquered nations, the Poles set up a government in exile. The British held the Soviets rightfully responsible for their part in the invasion. While the Soviets were initially resistant to Allied pressure, the German invasion of Russia in the summer of 1941 changed the dynamics of power between the two states. With the Soviets rapidly losing ground, they became eager for British aid in the form of Lend-Lease, and released the vast majority of Polish citizens from captivity. The released soldiers would make up the Free Polish Army. These units would be supplied by the United Kingdom or the Soviet Union, and would serve on any Allied front they were needed on. While it was nominally under the control of the Polish government in exile, it would operate within an Allied command structure. Authority was given to the recently released Władysław Anders, and the army would be commonly known as Anders' Army. With the Soviet Union collapsing on the Eastern Front, it was determined that the Russians would be unable to supply the Poles, who numbered around 100,000. However, with the joint Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran, a new route was opened up for the Polish. They would travel through the Middle East and operate entirely under British control. In the city of Hamadan in western Iran, Wojciech would find his new family. Found by a boy that believed that the hunters killed its mother, the Syrian brown bear cub was taken to the city's train station. The bear cub caught the eye of a great-niece of a Polish officer, and was bought for her as the Poles settled into a Tehran refugee camp temporarily. He stayed with her for 3 months, before being passed on to the Artillery Support Corps. This is where he was given the name Wojciech. It was a nickname for the common Polish name Wojciech, meaning happy warrior. Wojciech would eat what the soldiers ate and drink what the soldiers drank. He developed a taste for beer, cigarettes, and coffee. He grew quickly and was soon large enough to wrestle with the soldiers for fun. He began to march on his hind legs alongside soldiers in formation and became an icon for the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. In 1944, Wojciech's unit was sent to Italy. There was a problem though. British regulations forbade mascots and pets from boarding their ships. To get around this, they drafted the bear into the army as a private. Almost immediately upon their arrival in Italy, the Poles were swept into the Battle of Monte Cassino. The Allies had been trying to break the German lines for almost 4 months. Wojciech had been provided with a serial number and paybook that primarily went to the cost of feeding him. He slept in tents and assisted soldiers in their duties. By this point, Wojciech was almost 200 pounds of pure muscle. He would carry entire crates of artillery shells, weighing about 100 pounds total. The Poles were the first allies to break the line, and Wojciech was promoted to corporal. He was also adopted as the official emblem of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company, a bear carrying an artillery shell. The Poles faced a very uncertain future. With the Germans on the retreat, the Soviets severed ties with the Polish government in exile, and installed their own puppet government in Warsaw. The Poles kept themselves busy in Italy until 1946, when they returned to Britain for demobilization. Wojciech was sent ahead and arrived in Scotland in 1945. He found his final home in the Edinburgh Zoo in 1947. He became a prized attraction for journalists and children, and he appeared many times on the BBC. However, his favorites may have been the Polish veterans of his old unit. They made sure to bring him the cigarettes that he enjoyed many times during the war. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Have a nice day.